I really wanted to make my 50th year kind of a marker. And I just felt like the John Muir Trail was a great way to do that. It was a great adventure, and I just felt like, hey, this is going to push me out of my comfort zone. It's going to be an incredible adventure. An adventure being defined as we don't know what the outcome is going to be, but it should be awesome. And it was just that. It was just incredible. Somebody asked me when I got back if it was life-changing or not, and I said, absolutely. It was totally life-changing. And as I pondered that, I thought, wow, I think there's a couple specific ways it was life-changing. I ran into this guy on the trail, Alan, and Alan had this great illustration that kind of just framed up what this trip meant for me. He said, think of a donut, and in the middle of the donut, you have, the hole, not the part you eat, but in the hole of the donut, there's your comfort zone. And that's kind of where everybody wants to get to. That's the pursuit of happiness. We all want to be happy, and what we really mean is we want to get in that comfort zone and just not come out. The future is determined. We pretty much know what's going to happen in the comfort zone. There's no personal growth that's happening in the comfort zone. There's maybe pleasure, but that's it. And then in the meat of the donut itself, let's call that the adventure zone. And then outside of that donut, in the bigger area, let's call that the death zone. So the adventure zone is where you don't know what the outcome is going to be like. You're out of your comfort zone. Now, if you go too far out into the death zone, then everything comes off the rails and it's bad, right? You're doing things that you're just not capable of doing, that you shouldn't be doing. You're not incrementally, kind of stepping out a little bit into your comfort zone. You're going so far out that all hell breaks loose. And we don't want to be there. But in the adventure zone is when you're pushing your limits, the outcome isn't determined. And that's where all the meaning in life is. That's where you're growing. That's where the growth mindset is. And that's where some of the most amazing experiences will happen. That's where you get to know who you really are, who God is. And so the John Muir Trail was just that kind of trip for me. It was being in the adventure zone. There was one morning when the sun came up, and I was so tired I didn't really expect to hear from the Lord in any significant way, but I really did. And the sun came up, and I almost heard in his audible voice kind of read this proverb to me. And the proverb, I'll paraphrase, it says, the path of the righteous man is like the dawn, becoming ever brighter until full daylight. And in that moment, I kind of saw my life, maybe from when I was 20 up till now when I'm 50. And I just saw that guy I was in my 20s, that guy that was just a dysfunctional mess, angry, porn addicted, messed up, controlling, dysfunctional in every way. I look at that guy and I look at the past 3 decades and I think to myself, wow, I actually like me when I look in the mirror, and back then I didn't. And God has done so much inner work in my heart over these decades. Getting back to what I heard the Lord say, he was talking about this dawn, and I just kind of felt like up to this point in my life, there has been the anticipation of something good happening. But as I kind of pass this 50 marker, that's when the actual dawn is for me. That's when my time really is. That's when I'm going to make the most impact I'm ever going to make in this world. And that's when I'm healthy enough to want to make an impact. When you're unhealthy, you don't really have anything to say because you're a mess. So, you kind of got to get healthy because you can't give other people what you're not. So, I think to summarize what this trip was for me was, it was just a great marker for seeing a chapter close in my life and seeing a brand new chapter open. And so my question for you is, think about creating your own marker. You know, in the Old Testament, the patriarchs would build altars at various times in their lives and have an encounter with the Lord. And there was these, I think of the life of Abraham, how there was these long periods where nothing was really happening significant, but then he would have these markers in his life, and he would kind of commemorate those by building an altar and making a sacrifice. And for me, that's what this trip was. So my question for you is, if you haven't had one of those in a while, or if you've never had one, what might it be for you? Because I can't tell you how powerful it was to have a marker like this trip. It was truly life-changing. I don't think I'll ever be the same. And I am so happy that I did it. I'm so happy that I really stepped out of my comfort zone and did something that was, well, outside of my comfort zone. Anyways, that's my story. What's yours? GoPro, stop recording.